And
we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Retro Fandango, episode number 163. 163. Thank you guys so much for all of you who were able to tear yourself away. And I know I'm saying this as the big zero pops up in the corner that Richard's laughing at. Who were able to tear yourself away from the mighty Q Dogs, who are streaming right now. They're streaming live right now.
What are they streaming?
Well, let me show you. Look at this. Boom. I can just show you. Isn't that cool?
Whoa.
Look at technology. Let me do this. Bump this up. Look at that. We could just have the Q Dogs up for the entire show while we talk.
Sounds good.
Why not? I mean,
why bother having content when you can steal it from others?
We could just watch them. I don't think
Playing
you can.
San Francisco Rush on the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, I know. I think Ryan's over there. He's not over here. He's over there. And of course, he requested N64. You can't hear this, though, if I play it down, right? You can't hear any audio there?
I cannot hear it, no. He's getting some sweet air, though.
Yeah.
You know, I have really, and I'm not even messing around. Ryan's not even here to hear it. I have been really curious to pop in the old N64. I have only like 4 games for it now, but it's the console that always just sits there. What's up, Toku Joe?
Toku Joe is like always on it. Fandango reacts. Here's our reaction video. We got to do the thumbnails too, or we're shocked.
Whoa!
There, get that. For the
I've been so tempted to make a YouTube video again, but if I do, it's going to be the snarkiest, sarcastic. It's like
that's what people want. What are you talking about?
I'm going to tell you the truth about what I think about this nostalgic game.
Ryan's probably pissed right now that we interrupted you. You're about to say something nice about the N64. You're ready to plug it in. Was there a game in particular that had you thinking about?
Well, Ryan is the one he sent me a couple of those N64 wrestling games, which I know you're immediately turned off. But
I'm just not a fan.
You're not a fan, but they are well-made games for people who enjoy wrestling. I remember playing them way back in the early 2000s. It would be a common practice for people to bring in consoles to the break room where I worked and just plug them in during your lunchtime. Just sit down and they'd have like wrestling matches and whatever. Those N64 games were always the biggest draw. And it was just fun, you versus the computer trying to outmaneuver them and everything.
Well, let me tell you, that Dolphin emulator on the PC to play N64 games, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
The last time when the Cartridge Club was doing Ocarina of Time, I fired that up, and wow, it was good. Like all those little jaggy lines that you could see and all that, those are all erased. They're gone. It's all nice and straight. It's really nice and bright. You can see how it's kind of muddy, this image.
Well, you say that, and it sounds impressive. Like, it's nice that the picture gets cleaned up, but it's still an N64 game. And while I'm interested in popping it in, there's very few games in the library that I'm interested in playing, which is why I have only 4. And I can tell you what they are. I have 2 wrestling games from Ryan, WrestleMania, and that's one NCW, WCW, NCW.
Sure.
Pick some letters, throw them in there, and that's a wrestling game. What else do I have? Rogue Squadron and Get Bonus. What's it called? Sin and Punishment.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. That's all I kept.
Okay, yeah. Well, I really like the racing games on the N64.
Well, looking at this now I feel like, all right, I got to go out there and buy myself a racing game.
The San Francisco Rush is good. California Games is good.
You know what? A lot of those, or some of those, like Cruisin' USA and stuff, is that an N64 game? 8th place. Yes. Good job, Eric. I think they were unavailable in Japan. Did you go somewhere?
I'm looking for my
Good. You're looking
N64
for
games.
I couldn't tell because your image is so small on my screen here. The Q Dogs.
The California racing game is good too. You can race with a forklift. It's good.
Ooh.
You're racing like sports cars with a forklift.
Is it comparable in speed, or does it run like a forklift?
Yeah, no, it keeps right up to everybody. It might be the best vehicle in the game.
So it's just a skin.
Yeah, pretty much. And then there's that Beetle racing game.
Beetle, I used to have that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And then the Nintendo ones. There's Mario Kart, and then F-Zero.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mario Kart people. I can't get into that game.
Hey, Rocket Sauce is here.
All
He
right.
left there to come here. Right on. We could see you. We could see you commenting on both sides, sir.
In the back of his head, he heard the word Nintendo 64.
What the heck was I saying? I don't remember. Mario Kart, 64. Mario Kart 64, and actually the first two Mario Karts are not the greatest. The Super Nintendo one and the N64 one. Really, for me,
that Super Nintendo one is garbage.
For me, the series really took off with the GameCube one, Double Dash. That's when it started getting good. And yeah, the Wii one was good, and the Wii U one, which is basically the Switch one. So there you go.
The Wii one, I think, is the only one that I've really played more than 5 minutes of.
And then the ones on the 3DS, those are good too. The DS and the 3DS games are really good as well.
You're supposed to pick left or right, Eric.
Yeah, come on. I wonder if is it him that's playing, or is his daughter that's playing? I don't see a controller in his hand.
Yeah, that's right.
His hands are at his sides. Double Dash Gang. I don't know.
Somebody should tell Eric that we are watching him right now so he can listen to us while he live records his
there was some talk of having some Inception thing happening, but I don't think they could pull it off on their end. They're not as tech savvy as I am. Eric is, I think he's only an engineer, where I am I got the brain kind of thing. Oh yeah, no, he did have the controller in his hand. Okay,
yeah. So is he stopping now because Rocket Sauce is telling him something?
So now Rocket Sauce is telling him that it's getting crazy. Don't follow that chat, man, because it is.
Yeah, the only thing is I can't hear anything what's going on. So if he reacts, I'm just going to see confused looks.
Yeah. Well, you should be used to that.
Oh wait, okay. I can make out their comments too.
Yeah. Says Rocket Sauce says Fandango is live streaming and reacting to the stream.
Right. Okay. I can see that now.
So I don't know if Eric can. Yeah, I think Eric's laughing right now.
I see a smirk on his face.
I see an embarrassed look. So he's like, "Oh man, what are those guys saying?" Hey, at least we'll get an extra download for the next episode.
Right.
Why am I trying to look on this? I got a full screen right here. The whole thing. I can actually looks much better over here. Okay. Anyways, I need to minimize this so I can actually look at the outline and do the thing.
Mess with you later, Eric.
Yeah, we'll check in on Eric in a little bit. We'll check on him a little later. But for right now, I need to do the house cleaning and remind everyone that the Quick Save Club is playing Torchlight 2, and Sarah and I did play it this week. We fired it up and we got our old saves. And we went to New Game Plus, and we're having a good time. Rocket Sauce says Kevin needs to do StreamYards from Chrome so you can add audio. Okay, so I am using Chrome, but it won't let me use audio from a stream or anything like that. It was something like I can put a video file into the tab, and that would play it. I was like, I just want to play the audio from. So I don't know. I tried playing some audio down for Richard and it didn't work. Anyways, Torchlight 2, still good. Go check it out. CC Prime, they're just the Cartridge Club now. They're playing Parasite Eve, which I have not fired up yet, and a month is half over. I don't know if I'll get to it. I couldn't. So he says there's a little checkbox. I could not see any little checkbox.
You got to call tech support.
Yeah,
Is your computer plugged in?
I think
Did you power on your computer?
it's just irony after I said how good I am at all this stuff.
Right. Eric, you're just an engineer.
Rocket Sauce has to find the one thing that I can't
Mhm.
get done. And RF Gen is playing Fatal Frame 2, The Crimson Butterfly. Check
Taking
out
pictures.
Filmdango. I think not next week, but the week after we'll be recording our Filmdango.
I have to confirm some dates on that.
Okay. We should actually confirm with Curtis as well because he's a super busy guy.
Right.
Rocket Sauce says he'll text me some pics later. All right. Text me the pics and then explain to me how to do the movie thing. But don't forget to send those pics. I did try turning it off and on again. Toku Joe. That's the first thing I always do. And didn't work. So Curtis's Revenge this month. It's all 3 movies about trolls. Trolls 2, The Troll Hunter, and Ernest Scared Stupid. I've been watching a lot of horror movies too. I don't know if they're what you would consider horror movies though, but
Halloweeny mood.
Monster movies.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. Coming up next month, Coming of Age 3-pack with It's Rocket Sauce. We'll be watching Stand By Me, Rushmore, and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Okay. That's it. Good show, everybody. Thanks for listening. Go watch
Go
Q
back
Dogs.
to the Q Dogs. Let's return to the fields.
If Richard keeps me honest on the I can leave them up if you keep me honest. Oh, he's playing Doom 64 now. Oh my goodness. That's it. I really pity you if you are only listening to this because it's just the whole show is just going to be me now commenting on Doom 64.
How is the music in Doom 64? Do they keep the same soundtrack?
No, it's completely different. And actually, the soundtrack is probably the most disappointing part of Doom 64 because it's all like just ambient noises and bangs and clicks and that. It's not the metal soundtrack.
Can somebody ask Eric? Sorry, can somebody ask Eric to strafe right and left?
I
found that was the game breaker for me on this game because I could never figure out how to strafe. Like I could go one way but not the other.
It's not the bumpers?
Well, one of them would, but then the other one was like your something. I don't know. It never worked for me.
I don't see him strafing. I see him turning around. You could on the PC version. This is very tanky. He's playing very tanky.
Oh, wait, right there in the comments. Something said the problem... Oh, the problem rocket found?
No. Vox wants you to strafe right and left.
There you go. Thank you.
There. So we'll see if he actually does it. In the meantime...
We'll sit here in silence.
In the meantime... I was gonna fill the time with something. I played Hob, which is another game made by Runic Games.
Sorry, when you wrote Hob, I was thinking, isn't that one of those games from Twisted Pixel?
No, it's Runic Games who made Torchlight 2. And I've had the game in my library forever. And I thought, well, since we're doing Torchlight 2 for the Quick Save Club, it'd be cool to play their other game, the game that kind of tanked a little bit and didn't really make as much money as they thought it would and kind of bankrupted Runic Games, and that's why they're not around anymore. So I thought I'd play it and see if it's actually a good game. And it's a little obtuse. But it's like it's a little bit like a Zelda game, but it doesn't do like that running around part where you got to go back to different areas and unlock things and all that stuff. It's so far it's a little more straightforward. But you play as this kid, and you run into this robot, and this robot, like there's no English or anything, like no spoken language. It's all just like kind of done in motions, and this robot tells you kind of what to do, like, hey, go over here and do this thing and all that. So you go do these things, and then you run into like this, I don't know, it's like this weird goo that's either alien or it's like supernatural or something, and the goo like it attaches onto your hand. It goes onto your hand and then starts crawling up your arm. So your robot buddy comes up to you and he slices off your arm. And next thing you know, you wake up and the robot has taken off his arm and he's put it on yours. So now you have one regular arm and one super robot arm. And with the arm, you can move around big blocks and open up these doors. And then you can upgrade the arm and you can bash through walls and stuff. So it's pretty good so far. But yeah.
It looks very pretty.
It is a very good looking game. Yeah.
For a Bionic Commando ripoff.
Well, it's not like so far I can't hang off of wall or ceilings and, do the like extendo arm thing and whip around and stuff like that. So can't do that yet. Maybe you can at some point. So it's Rocket Sauce says you can strafe with the C buttons, which are those are the yellow buttons on the upper. Yeah. So there must be some different control options though, where you can switch it over
play
to
on the PC.
Well, there you go. It looks a lot better on the PC too. Let me tell you.
Well,
I think like Eric's playing this through RGB as well, right? This is like up converted and all that, and it's still kind of. I mean, it looks better than 256p.
But also seems very light.
Not a lot of enemies.
Yeah.
That was the other thing too. It's a bit of a sparse game because the N64 could only handle so much, right?
Yeah, kill a couple enemies, walk through mazes for 5 minutes, kill another enemy.
So I did enjoy it. I thought it was pretty good. I remember I think I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. I thought it was like it's decent, but I was a little disappointed because it was really hyped up for me as like, oh, if you love Doom and you never played Doom 64, you got to because it's so different. And it is. It's different. It's unique, but
all the consoleized versions of Doom had quotes like that on their games. The Sega Saturn had a Doom version. It's like the best version of Doom yet. No, just go play it on the PC.
Rocket Sauce says there's filters he needs to play with for the Frame Meister. All right, well, maybe he doesn't have the right filters, but I mean, it looks fantastic. And it's 16:9. Didn't have to play with any filters. Just play the game. I got to play it in 4K.
Yeah, he found one enemy.
And he's still very tanky. He's very tanky in his play.
Hey, you want to hear about tanky? I played a game.
All right, let's hear it.
This Sega 60th birthday celebration they got going on.
I actually should say I was in the chat earlier for the Q-Dog thing, and they do say hello, by the way. And this did come up. Come up, and I knew that Richard was going to complain about something, so I had a prediction of what you were going to complain about.
All right, let's hear it.
You want me to tell you ahead of time? Okay,
go ahead.
I think you're going to complain that you have to log into Steam on 3 different days and download the 3 different games 3 different times. Like you can't just go to the website, say these are my 3 free games, thank you, and then get out of there. You have to go there today, tomorrow, and the next day to get 1, 2, and 3.
Well, absolutely.
I do that.
Absolutely.
Okay, see, I was right. Because I even thought Eric would complain about that, and he said, "No, that's okay. I don't mind that." I'm like, "Oh,
yeah, I do find that extremely, extremely annoying to have to go in like a different day. But tell me if I'm wrong on this. Are you able to keep these games, or are they just you can play it for a few days while it's available? Because I don't see a download option. I see a play now option.
I'm not 100% clear on that. I don't know.
Because I was excited, like, hey, Sega having a 60th celebration, their anniversary, their birthday, giving away free games. And then I look at the games and it's like, oh, okay, this is a failed demo.
Yeah.
This is like one level of a game that they were making but then abandoned because the studio shut down or they realized the project was going nowhere. So they're throwing us scraps. It's just like, hey, come celebrate with Sega. You could give out Sonic the Hedgehog, a game that everybody has. Everybody's downloaded or bought a copy. And just say, hey, look, Sonic is free. Just, if you don't have it for some reason, here you go, trade. And that would be fine. But giving out like all these like leftovers or never were games.
Well,
Come on.
I will say it's kind of neat that some of them are. I mean, you wouldn't be able to get them any other way, right? Like they would
Well,
just be gone. Like they were, you know.
right. I think that is kind of a cool thing in itself. If studios every once in a while would say, "Hey, look, here are some projects that ended up going nowhere, and just for kicks, we're going to show you what it was." And then there could even be some hype behind it. Maybe a bunch of people see it and like, "Wow, this game was really fun. I wish you guys would have continued this." And then maybe it would generate something like a resurgence in interest in that game. But for a birthday celebration, to hype it up like this is our big 60th, and then this is what we got for you. Now, I'm not
Yeah.
demanding anything. It's nice of them to do anything for free, but just it seems right now like I played that tank game, Hero Armor something something, and it controlled like a tank. It was not very fun. So I'm not too excited about the rest of this.
I was watching Eric play, and another good reason to only keep a few enemies on the screen at the same time is because the controls are horrible in this game.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I've
No
never
strafe.
made it this far. What's this new enemy type?
I think that's this game's version of the imp.
Oh, the
Yeah,
spiky guy.
yeah, spiky guy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, that's true. I think when I played through, there was the beastie guy on the two legs, and then the soldier guys.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I could never get through enough of this game to see any other enemies. The controls just I couldn't take it.
Well, on PC you can strafe,
Oh, well.
and you could save at any time too. And this thing you had to do the password and all that.
I'm impressed, Eric.
Yeah.
He's got Doom 64 skills.
All right, we'll check into Eric a little bit later because I can't remember what the heck to talk about next.
Really hard to think.
That's why I do an outline.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, new Tremor movie. Did you see that in the outline? Did you know that there's a brand new Tremors movie?
No, I didn't.
Yes.
Oh gosh, are we getting more Jamie Kennedy action?
No, that's the thing. Jamie Kennedy's gone. Jamie Kennedy's out. Jason, what's his name? Nerf herder? Napoleon Dynamite. Napoleon Dynamite is in. What the heck's his name? I got a link right here. What the heck's his name?
Jared Hess was the director.
John Heder.
John Heder.
Heder. So yeah, you got John Heder and Michael Gross. Would I lie to you, man? I would never lie to you.
So did they recast Jamie Kennedy, or are they just getting somebody else?
Well, from the trailer,
new character.
Because I did see.
There's a trailer and everything. How did this not make news until the trailer came out?
You know what? I can even play that trailer down for you. There's no audio on it.
Tremors, Shrieker Island.
Shrieker Island. I'll mute that for myself. So yeah, look at that. Tremors.
Huh. I honestly thought they were done.
It looks like, look at the locations here, man. They're on like some Hawaiian island or something like that. So they put some money into this. It's running all staccato on my end, if that's why you're seeing it like that. But it looks like it's just Shriekers. I don't see any.
I imagine they're calling it Shrieker Island. So
yeah.
Well, they showed that one shot, so that's probably all you're getting of Tremors, of Graboids, is just a couple of maybe one stock footage shot. Just
how would Graboids wouldn't be able to move very much on an island like this because it's all volcanic rock. Like that was.
I'm guessing they're going more for a zombie vibe then.
Yeah, this was actually funny. This line here. So Michael Gross says to him, Bert Gummer says to him, you could either lead, follow, or get out of the way. So John Herder says, okay, well, I'll lead. And Bert Gummer looks at him. He's like, that wasn't one of the options. But it was. I thought it was funny.
I really thought they were done because he looked pretty far gone in the last one.
You're getting at least one more, and they're not in
Wow.
space yet. So I think it'll have to end when they get into space.
With Jason and the Leprechaun.
That's right.
Everybody's out in space.
Well, Ernest went to space too, right?
No, he should have.
Mm.
That was part of the behind the scenes discussion. Of what
Tokujo
Ernest
says
should have done.
Tremors Skull Island. That's a reference to the King Kong movie. You know
The
what?
King Kong movie. Yeah.
King Kong will be coming up later in this show. Promise you it will.
Mm.
So yeah, I was pretty stoked when I saw that. And I was like, oh, I get to tell Richard.
You didn't even see the last one though.
No, I haven't. No, I was just excited to tell you. I don't want to see them. I just
Yeah, well, I don't know. Now that Jamie Kennedy's out, maybe John Heater could do it for me.
I don't know. I do want to see this one, I think, more than the last one. The last one, like there was something off. This one seems like just from the location
last one was
and
so generic. It was it was absolutely the worst Tremors movie that has ever been made.
Like I can't imagine this being good. It doesn't look good, but it looks like it might be fun. I don't know. And
I don't know why I have an attachment to this series beyond the second one, because again, when I bought the first movie many years ago, it was in a 2-pack. So I had the first 2 movies. First one was great. It's still an amazing movie to go back and watch once in a while. The second one has not aged well for me. You really see all the mistakes. And then when we decided to sit there and watch everything that had been made up until that point, it was like you see just, wow, it just falls off.
There's my buddy Deke chiming in. No sleep till Mars. This guy on YouTube doesn't stop. It's true. I really do need to stop. There is too much of me on YouTube. Yeah, if we didn't do that episode of Tremors, I don't know if I would be into it as much beyond the first movie. And as you recall, I had the opportunity to buy the first 5 Tremors movies for $10. It was a set for $10.
Mm-hmm.
And then right beside it was just Tremors for $11.99, and I paid the extra $1.99 just to have Tremors because I did not want those other movies.
It's very true. I don't need to go revisit or try to defend any of those sequels. The first movie's great.
Well, the one where they went back to the 1800s, that one I remember, that was pretty good.
It's okay.
Yeah.
If you're going to watch another Tremors movie, sure, that's something a little bit different. Had some fairly well paced scenes and stuff, and it did have Burt Gummer being a jerk to some little kid.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't really Burt Gummer, right?
He was an ancestor, right?
So, speaking of which, I did watch an ancestor episode of Star Trek. What's the heck's the name of that show? Enterprise.
Oh, you started watching again. So I was gonna tell Matt and Kyle to just forget it. You know, guy gave up.
Well, I was extremely bored at work today, like really bored. I was caught up on everything, so and I had like an hour and a half left. So I said, "What the heck? I'll put on this episode of Enterprise. Get it going again." So I watched. It was Data's great grandfather, I guess. Whatever. The guy who comes, I don't know. So anyways, the episode was about this guy, like his descendants create Data, the robot Data, but for some reason this guy in the past, he's not into making robots. He's into genetic engineering, which in the Star Trek universe is a huge no-no. It's the whole part of, you know, if you don't know anything about Star Trek, you probably heard Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and Khan was a genetically altered person who kind of went a little cuckoo because it messes with your brain chemistry.
There was a major war, the eugenics war.
Right.
It was basically the downfall of civilization before the birth of the Federation.
Right. It led to World War III and all sorts of crazy bad things. So genetic manipulation in the Federation is completely outlawed. It's completely banned. No one can do it.
Side mention, Just
Yes.
just want to say this. The most recent episode of the original series I watched was Space Seed.
Very good. So yeah, that's what
Con stretches.
so that's what this episode reminded me of. It was just the space seed again. It was like, okay, here we go. But
Space
you know,
Seed, but not as good.
and stretched out into 2 friggin' episodes because I'm like,
Three, wasn't it? Like
I
two
don't
or
know.
three
I
episodes.
I only watched the first, and at the end it was like to be continued. And I'm like, oh man, I feel like as if I wasted my
It's
time
like
because
it's
it
like
felt
three
like
episodes.
I got 1/3 of Space Seed, and the rest was like he fooled them to uh, trap them with these Orion bounty hunters who capture people and put them into slavery, and so and his plan was that this would disrupt everybody on the ship and he would find a window to escape. So this guy's very dangerous, right? This thing. So the captain, so the guy, these Orions come to the ship, beam like just members of his crew off of the ship, random members of the crew off the ship, and take off to go to this planet to sell his crew members into slavery. So now Captain Archer needs to follow them to the planet, and he's got to figure out a way to get onto the planet and save his people. So he's like, what I'll do is I'll beam down there, I'll disguise myself, and you can get on this planet if you disguise yourself as a traitor, a legit traitor. If you're a legit traitor, you can get on the island and they'll like try to sell you some slaves. So that's what he does. But he doesn't go by himself. He brings the one guy, the dangerous guy, with him onto the planet for some reason. I don't know why. Why would you bring that guy?
There was some reason for it, but I don't remember.
I don't know. It didn't make any sense to me why he was on there. But anyways, I'm still not impressed with the show. I'm trying to.
I'll tell you. Here's the thing. You got the Nazi aliens at the beginning.
Yes. Yep.
Then you get into Data.
Yep.
The three thing with the eugenics there. After that, there's going to be another like maybe 2 episode arc about Vulcans. If you make it past the Vulcan one, that's where it starts to ramp up.
Okay.
So I'm even going to give you permission to skip those. Just there might be a couple little details from there that pop up later on, but
yeah,
if you get through this eugenics one, and then the Vulcan one is kind of slow too, and it's still a bit of the super Archer who's like, I gotta do everything. I'm Archer. Da, da, da. After that, you get like this one-off episode where it's just a one-shot little like feature of the week. Here's the thing. And that one was pretty darn good. And then that's where the show finally gets its groove and finally seems like, okay, for Star Trek Enterprise, for what they're trying to do with these characters, this is the best path that they have laid out yet. And that's like they coast for the rest of the series until you get to that really wacky ending.
All right. I'm hanging in there, Ben. I'm hanging in there because, yeah.
I'm not going to try to defend the ones you're watching now because I thought, yeah, those are also, that's a continuation of the previous seasons. Like, I think they really got like a new staff member who was in charge of the plots or whatever and coming up with some of these stories because there's a significant change. You really feel it. It's like everything starts gelling. Characters are more balanced. They're using everybody effectively. You no longer just see, Mayweather's just sitting there flying the ship, has like one line of dialogue. It's like they start using people.
Well, it was a very timely episode for me because earlier in my shift, I got a work order to put in. There was some problem with the pilot episode of Star Trek Discovery. So
there's a problem with it already.
So they wanted that again. They needed it again. So I went and found it for them again to put it in there. And I thought, you know what? It says it's a season premiere of season 3. Maybe I'll give it a little bit.
Season 3 you're talking about.
Yeah, that's just the latest episode. So I thought maybe I'll give it a little bit of a shot. Maybe I'll watch it a little bit. So I started watching it. And I don't know if this is spoilers or anything. I'm not really following the show, so whatever. So they're in the super future now, right? They went through some wormhole or something like that. They needed to do that to save the world for some reason. I wasn't really paying attention to the recap at the start. I just started tuning in a little bit after that, and then so she comes into the future. She was in like a super suit with wings, and she goes through the wormhole. The ship is nowhere to be found. So she's like zipping towards the planet. She hits this other ship that's by like this Han Solo smuggler guy that's flying around. He's running away from somebody. They knock into each other. They've crashed down into this planet, and then they meet together on the planet. And they're like, "Hey, what are we gonna do?" And like, well, there's the dumbest thing was that she gets down to the planet, and sorry, Kyle. This might be some
Kyle, you
spoilers
just
for
walked
Discovery.
into Discovery spoilers.
I don't know if this is spoilers. Oh.
Kevin loves it so much, he's got to talk about it.
I did not see the end of the episode. Okay, there's the spoiler right there. I did not watch the whole thing. I only watched a little bit of it. So if you're worried about what happens at the end of the season premiere of Star Trek Discovery season 3, I won't spoil it because I didn't watch it. I only watched the beginning. And so they crash down on the planet, and it just was like bad, like just bad writing after bad writing. I'm sorry. It was just like all these characters. Like I heard that this show is gotten better. Like it's now it's found its footing. You know, it's like the Next Generation. The first season was really bad, and now we're good to go. Everything's happening. But I'm watching it, and it's like I still like the characters are just really saying dumb things to each other. They don't talk to each other naturally, you know, and I don't know. But the funny thing is that it was the exact same thing as that Enterprise episode where they're on this planet. She finds out that she lands there first. She's like, are there life forms on this planet? And the computer says, yes, there are life forms on this planet. She gets all excited and happy. Yay, there are life forms on this planet. She doesn't even find out what kind of life forms are on the planet. It could be freaking amoebas or something. You know, she doesn't ask like, are they human or do they have intelligence or anything?
Be a virus.
Who knows?
A deadly virus.
So that was kind of weird. But the funny thing is that just like in that episode of Enterprise, somewhere on this planet are traders again, slave traders again, and they have to pretend that they're trading like old, because she's from the past, right? So she has like the super old equipment, and they show her like, yeah, we're traders, we're trading this really old equipment, and the people at the door are like, oh, I don't know if we're gonna let you in, and then eventually they do let him in, but it was just weird. Like that was exactly what happened in that Enterprise episode. And then here it is on Discovery, and it's the exact same thing. Like nothing ever changes in Star Trek, I guess. It's just the same thing, except the writing quality goes down.
I'm assuming the writers for Discovery have not watched a whole lot of Star Trek before.
Maybe.
But they got a huge catalog of shows. So they probably just go, boop, you, and maybe they pulled that episode of Enterprise and it's like, oh, okay, slave traders, conflict, anger, all right, yeah, I'm making a show out of this. Nobody's gonna remember.
But anyways, I don't know. It's just that it's the character Michael Birnbaum. I can't get into her character at all. Yeah. She just really turns me off.
In the episode, did she turn to somebody of authority and say, we have to do this, and start crying? That's usually how the episodes end.
In the recap at the beginning, that was happening. And then at some point, like I tuned away, so I don't know what exactly happened. Then I tuned back in, and I think someone gave her some truth serum or something. Or something like that. Anyway, here's the other dumb thing. She just runs into this guy, right? And then they're captured by these, like they go into the trader thing or whatever, and then they're captured. They're cornered by the bad guys. And they're like, okay, we're going to have to figure out who you people really are and all that stuff. And the two just give each other a little look like, yeah, let's do this. And then they just start fighting, all choreographed fighting. It's like, you just met these people, this person. Like that little look could have been, okay, we're going to turn around and run away. Or we're going to like duck and, you know, I want Kevin and Richard to write their own episode. You got it. I will.
We'll be done.
Yeah. We're going to write some fan fiction.
Mm-hmm. Is it going to be that fan fiction where Kirk and Spock are like a couple? Slash. That's what they called it. Slash.
Here's the thing. It's Rocket Sauce says, can you blame them for not watching Star Trek because it's Star Trek. But here's the thing: it's like people are get angry with me for not watching the show because then I can't comment on it because I don't watch the show. Or then when I watch the show, they complain like, "Well, why are you still watching it? Like you're just going to complain about it? Just give it up." Like, make up your mind, people. I'm sorry I don't like the show, but anyways.
Oh, here you want to turn it. Here I'll give you an example. Anger out of control. I saw this recently. They're bringing Dexter back.
Yeah.
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 And see there. Anytime I've ever mentioned Dexter in the past, immediately that's it. That show ended so badly.
It did.
That show ended so badly. But
awful.
You watched it, didn't you?
I hate watched the last 2 seasons but that show was so good at the start, and then it
was entertaining. I saw up until season 5,
right.
I think. I can't even tell you what happened in season 5. All I know is that it ended with him, and that's at that point he was the single dad, and he was like doing balloon stuff.
Yeah, I mean that show was excellent to start, and then I think there was the John Lithgow season
that
where
was good.
It was good, and
John
then
Lithgow was so good in that show.
And then it
he
dipped.
Was creepy.
And then it dipped after that, and that was it.
But basically,
was really bad in that first season. I don't know. I thought Dexter season 1, 2, 3. I don't know up until after John Lithgow that season, it nosedived, and the whole thing with like, what is he going to tell his sister or anything like that? It was just, I don't know.
The show kind of has a simple premise, so there doesn't seem to be a whole lot what you can do with it. And I think the John Lithgow season, it's really John Lithgow that was really good. He had a great performance. He had a lot of fun with his character. Jimmy Smits. It got kind of ridiculous early on too. Of like everybody was just like, "Yeah, I'm going to be a killer too. Let's go kill together," and all this.
Peak was with the Trinity Killer. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. But Dexter pops up in the Twitter feed, and the only reaction you see from people is, "That last season was so bad. Can you undo that last season?" Meanwhile, everybody's going to watch the new one that comes out.
I'm not going to watch the new one. I'm done. Once I saw that finale, I was like, "That's it. I'm done. I'm not going to watch it."
Also, it did have an ending.
Yeah, there was an ending to the show, and it was terrible. Terrible.
I don't know.
Didn't make any sense whatsoever.
8 seasons.
It was a lot of seasons.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot. Maybe I'll go back and watch the stuff I haven't seen. But it's been so long. I don't want to go back and watch everything.
Yeah. So like I see, that's the other thing too. I'm so leery about starting a show because once I'm in, it's like a bathtub. It's like I just stay in, even though I'm like all wrinkled and pruned and the water's turned cold. It's like, okay, I got to see how this ends. I got to wait till all the water evaporates.
I got out of the Discovery bathtub as soon as Michael Burnham was going to play Spock in chess.
Exactly. Like that's why it's like, okay, I got to get out now, because if I don't get out now, then I'm going to be stuck in this show because you put in so much time into it. That's it. It's done. And
I can accept when Kirk beats Spock at chess, but not Burnham.
Kyle is desperately trying to turn the conversation back to Star Trek. He says Discovery does need a better showrunner. Yes, they need one. They need one focus. Right. They need to focus on one thing. It's all over the place. Will never be 10% TNG caliber. I would just like it if they would just give me a crew who can get along and work together to fight science fiction ideas.
Well, that's the thing is, all the Star Trek that has come out since Voyager has been, let's go back. Let's go back to another time, right? Enterprise went back. The J.J. Abrams movies go back. The Discovery goes back. Because nobody knows how to be as stubborn as Gene Roddenberry and have that bright outlook of the future where people get along and they work together and they have a common goal. They all have to go to that point. It was like, oh, you know what? But before that happened, they still fought, right? They still hadn't quite figured it out yet. So let's go there. It's easier to write that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I read an article about that today, how like Star Trek will never be as good as the Next Generation, because where you can go from the Next Generation now, Like human beings have solved all the problems,
Mm-hmm.
so there's nothing left to solve. So there's no conflict, so you can't have any more TV show, which I think is a huge cop out. I don't think that's true at
It's
all.
not true, but it is fine. You don't need to have more Star Trek TV shows. We had you got your original Star Trek, which hey, that was great. Too bad it got canceled. All right, years later, let's try it again. Next generation. Here's everything that I wanted to do. Only now we've got some better effects. We got some better some better acting in some regards. And just overall, they took that and amped it up and said, hey, let's let these ideas fly. And then, we got DS9 and Voyager and all that, and they kept going. But really, we've had enough that you can sit back and say, I'm going to go watch Cause and Effect again, because that was a great episode.
I think you can have more Star Trek. They didn't finish exploring space. There's still more space to explore. And I'm sorry, but the Orville proves that you could still have Star Trek. It's a great show.
I should watch that at some point.
And it does take a lot of ideas from Star Trek, but he's got that formula down just right, where the crew they have conflict. The crew does have a little bit of conflict with each other. In fact, the first officer and the captain used to be married at one point, so they're ex-spouses. But they all, at the end of the day, like they all work together to get a job done. Like there's some sort of threat, or there's something happening, or they need to discover something, or whatever, and they work together as a team to solve it. And he does it like it's not as dry as the Next Generation characters, where like they're a little more Seth MacFarlane-y, but there it is. But here, that show's going off the air, and Discovery's going to be on for another friggin' 10 years. So what do I know?
Because they do fights, explosions.
Now everyone's trying to get it back to Dexter. I think the Star Trek fans and Dexter fans are fighting. I don't know if you want to read that, Richard. Have you seen the end of Dexter?
No. As far as I know, there are 8 seasons. I've seen 5.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you it's because there's some spoilers there big time.
Okay. Well, I will. I might go back and start up season 6 then and just see where it goes, because I'm curious now of what this terrible ending is that everybody seems to complain about.
It's pretty bad. And Deke, I agree with you 100%. Now I'm reading Deke's second comment here.
Yeah, I'm ignoring the comments for a little bit. What are the Q Dogs up to?
Yeah, let's do that. I could show you what the Q Dogs are up to. Right on. They're playing some Burger Time.
Ooh, Burger Time on the N64?
No, that's ColecoVision.
Oh, ColecoVision. Here we go.
Yeah, that's good times.
We got a Q Dog Junior there.
Ran into the wiener. What is the wiener? A fried egg, and that's it on this one.
Well,
just a couple of wieners and a fried egg.
What are the other enemy types?
I don't remember.
Cabbage?
I don't remember. It's pretty bad.
I play Burger Time fairly often too. I couldn't tell you.
Game over. Wow.
I used to play that on the PC. That was my first introduction to Burger Time.
Oh, really?
Because we had one of those early PC joysticks. It was like a square and like the really thin joystick that had like the little screw on top.
Yep.
Man, that thing was awkward, but that's what you did.
Yep. The first time I played it was on the ColecoVision, and then I got a version of it on the Commodore 64.
Man, these things are fast. They're right on top.
Yeah, they don't give you a lot of room.
Oh, you should have tripped them up.
See these were quarter munchers, right?
Oh.
These were not easy games. Cornered there.
No, and you have to make sure that if you're playing, you have the right joystick, because if you got like the 8-way thing going, you can't, up down.
Sometimes
left,
sometimes it would lock
stuck.
in. Yeah. All right, great audio once again. Okay, I think I'll take this out of here.
Come on. Hey, so you've been watching horror movies and monster movies?
So yeah, I guess so. So the let me just get this one out of the way. Have you ever seen the original King Kong?
I haven't. I've only
Let me
seen
tell you.
clips.
So remember when I watched Godzilla, the first Godzilla, and I was a little bit disappointed.
Oh, more than a little bit.
Because of what I was expecting was a lot of stop animation, right? Stop motion animation.
In Godzilla, it's a guy in a suit.
It's a guy in a suit. I know. I don't know. I didn't know. That's why I was naive,
Okay.
and I went in and I thought that's what I was going to see. So King Kong came on the Turner Classic Movies. So I taped that and watched it the other night, and that scratched the stop motion itch.
Ooh.
What a fantastic movie! I loved it. So this is the original from the 30s. Incredible movie for the 1930s. I mean, just big, huge sets. And that, like, they had to really build like these really big doors, and that's for the actors to open this gateway for Kong to come through. Of course, it's superimposed with the stop motion Kong coming through the door, but still, they had to build this big, huge set that was like layers on top of each other, and quite an impressive movie. And I always knew like that end part of the movie just through The Simpsons, right? Like where they go to New York and. There, but I thought that was going to be like a huge part of this movie, but it's really only like the last 10 minutes of the movie. The majority of the movie, they're on Kong Island and they're running into all sorts of things. Like Kong runs into all sorts of things to fight. It's like every 5 minutes, it's like Kong runs into a dinosaur. Okay, fight the dinosaur. Oh, and there's a pterodactyl. Okay, fight this thing now. Oh, there's some other big beast. All right, fight this thing. Like this is Kong fighting all these beasts. And it was quite enjoyable. I really
That's
liked
what people went to see, right?
So, like when I do my top 10 movies from the 30s, King Kong's definitely going to be on that
top
list.
10 from the 30s.
Yes, but King Kong will definitely be
You
on
do a
that
top
list.
10 by every decade?
Sure, why not? I thought it was
idea.
great. I thought it was great, man. I really enjoyed it. I want the movie now. I want it in my collection.
I can't say that I've ever sat down and watched the entire thing. It's one of those movies that you constantly see clips from or is referenced all the time.
Yeah.
Going up the Empire State Building and everything. And all right.
Of course, Rocket Sauce with his Simpsons references. I wish they went to Candy Apple Island. And Toko Joe says you should check out the original Mighty Joe Young. The stop motion in that is fantastic. I did see that on the list. Like it was like a team that worked on King Kong, and then they went like maybe a decade later, and then they made Mighty Joe Young. So that caught my eye. So it's on my radar to check that one out as well.
If you want some really good stop motion animation, you got to check out those Ray Harryhausen.
Yeah, I do have Clash of the Titans.
I think most people have seen Clash of the Titans and Jason and the Argonauts, but there's so many others. The Golden Voyage of Sinbad is a really good one. There are a lot of them that are like mythology and stuff, and they got all these creatures coming out. So fun.
So I forgot to put it in the list, but another stop motion animation movie I watched was The Beast from 20,000 Leagues. So this is about this one was in the 50s, and it's about these research scientists in the North Pole. They're always getting in trouble at the North or South Pole. This time they're at the North Pole, and they're setting off nuclear blasts at the North Pole for experiments for some reason.
Nuclear Santa.
So as one of the nuclear blasts goes off, and it frees this 1.3 million year old dinosaur from the ice. It was frozen in the ice, and the heat from the explosion melted the ice. Now the dinosaur is free, and it doesn't hang out at the North Pole. It's heading down to New York, because why not? That's where you go. They did come up with some excuse, like there was something under the water in the Hudson River that would attract the dinosaur down there.
There's a lot of stuff in the Hudson River.
Yeah, that I don't know, dinosaurs are into. So, so the dinosaur, it just makes its way down. There was a lot of references to Canada. There was a lot of Canadian action in this movie. Nova Scotia comes up a lot of times.
Have to pass through, right?
It's got to get through there. Eventually takes down a lighthouse in Maine, which was a good scene. Mm-hmm. And then it arrives in New York City and just starts creating havoc in New York City. And it was good times with all that stop motion. action, and then eventually they corner it on Coney Island, and it takes down a matchstick roller coaster. I don't think it was supposed to be made out of matchsticks, but it looked like it was. But it was good times. I like that one too. And then Sarah wanted to really watch a lot of horror movies, so she made me watch the Amityville. I can't. Amityville horror.
Is written down somewhere.
I do, but I still can't say it even while Amityville horror. So this movie has James Brolin or Josh Brolin, whatever, the older Brolin, and Margot Kidder. Margot Kidder was actually, she was really nice in this movie. I mean, in the Superman movie, she's okay, but this is the one. And Rod Steiger's in it. And I think someone just threw some money at Rod Steiger to tell him to be in a movie because he doesn't actually interact with any of the other characters in the movie. He's a priest, and he just kind of shows up in the house, and the house tells him to get out. So he eventually gets out. And then he's all messed up and can't go back. But the family still stays there. So eventually this movie goes on and on. There's all sorts of crazy things happening. They finally figure out that there's something wild in the basement. They open up a hole in the wall in the basement. And they discover a hallway to hell. There's a tunnel to hell right in the basement. So what do you do when you find a hallway to hell in your basement?
Probably got to check it out.
No, this family did not do that. No, they just they
cover it up with a sheet.
Nope, they just went about their business.
No, just ignore it.
Yep. Oh well, it happens.
Probably go away on its own.
They sat around and said, "Should we move? I don't know if we should move." And then some more crazy stuff happened. It's like, get out of the house, get out, run, get out of there. Nope. So, anyways, I wasn't too impressed with.
Maybe they put up a sign like, "Don't go in."
And spoiler alert: nobody dies in the movie. No deaths. It's a horror movie with no deaths. There is this family that had lived in the house before, and at the beginning of the movie, they do get killed. They get murdered at the beginning of the movie. But once they're done, nothing happens. Then I watched
ignoring it just kind of worked, huh?
I guess so. Then I watched the original Blob with Steve McQueen.
Been a while since I've seen that.
It wasn't very good.
As a kid.
It wasn't very good. It was.
All I remember are the shots of jelly going through doors.
Yep, that was pretty much it. I think it's one of those movies that was lucky to have Steve McQueen in it, and that's the only reason why anyone remembers it. Because it just kind of was. I hear it was remade in the '80s, so maybe that one's better. But yeah,
I'm sure that one is probably more bloody and violent.
And then Sarah wanted to watch the Blair Witch Project. So I said, you know what? I'll give it another shot. I did watch it back in the day in the theater, and I did enjoy it. And I still appreciate how that movie came together with a very limited budget. Like, there's not much there, right? Are you reading the chat again?
I just noticed one come up, and I don't know what it refers to.
I'll properly punctuate for Richard's pleasure.
I did yell at everybody for not capitalizing and just writing very sloppily. We're trying to do a professional show here. This stuff is going out on the internet.
I think Kyle is watching last week's episode and is giving us comments in this week's episode.
Thanks for the chats. No period.
You're gonna lose there, Kyle. You're gonna lose the grammar war with Richard every time. Thanks for hanging out with us, Kyle.
Bye, Kyle.
Yeah, I still I think back then I think I would have given it like it scared the pants off me thing, but this time I don't know, it just didn't really scare me at all. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, I see. Yeah, whatever. Like,
I've never seen it. It's one of those movies that I know it gets a lot of hype. A lot of people loved it, for the whole found footage atmosphere and everything of it. It just looked like a bunch of annoying teenagers I'm not going to care about, and I don't know. I'm not going to watch.
I don't know. They weren't teenagers. They were young people. They were in their 20s.
That's even worse.
But I don't know. I really appreciate what they did with not much of a budget. But I didn't
I'm
find it
sure. I
really scary.
imagine maybe I could appreciate it on a technical level, if you want to say that, but I don't know.
There's Kyle's
Not
response
my
too.
bag. Yeah,
He
clever.
added a period in his next comment. Um, yeah, that was it. That's all I watched. There's a silly thing in the movie in the Blair Witch Project. They're stuck in the woods. The Blair Witch is kind of messing with them, right? And they think they're walking one way, but they end up walking in circles. And one thing I don't understand is why they just didn't follow the river. There was a river that was going through the woods, and if you just stuck to the river, you know that you're going in a direction. You know, the river might wind,
Mm-hmm.
might twist, but eventually you'll get out. Like the river will go somewhere, even if it's the
Mm-hmm.
long way or whatever. If you stick to that, you'll get out. I don't know why they didn't stick to that.
You should have been with them.
I would have helped them out.
Yeah. If you were there, then the movie would have been called A Walk in the Woods.
And then how did they find who got the footage? How did they get the footage?
I've never seen it. I don't know.
And how dumb is the Blair Witch? She's pretty stupid because she's been surviving since the 1700s out in these woods, staying away from other people, getting people to come in there and I don't know, do things with them, just mess around with them and that. But she allowed these kids to tape her whole thing. Now her story's out there. Everyone knows about her. Then she want to stay.
Just because you have a special skill like witchcraft doesn't mean you're overly intelligent. Look at
Yeah,
Khan. He was not thinking three-dimensionally.
that's right. That's
Very
right.
smart guy, but
Yeah. Oh, Kyle says he did get to watch House of a Thousand Corpses last night. It's an odd one. Yep.
I've never seen any of those Rob Zombie horror movies.
Not a fan. Sorry. I'm not a fan. I like
I
his
hear
music,
he has a strange style.
but his movies, not so much. All right. What about you? I talked enough.
I didn't do nothing.
You got 3 movies.
No, I
written
watched a
down
bunch of movies too. I was looking around for something to watch, and I realized, hey, it's been a while since I checked out the old Tubi TV selection.
Oh, is that where this was? Okay.
So I started looking in there, and I came across a film called Reanimator, which I remember Duke mentioning. And I knew that it starred Jeffrey Combs, who you know as Wayoon from DS9.
Yes.
He's also on Enterprise. He plays an Andorian named Shran. And I knew a little bit about the movie, but I hadn't seen it. So I figured, all right, let me check it out. And it is a fun ride. It's not a brilliant movie or anything, but it sure is fun. It's so fun. It's just about this. He's a med student who is studying about reanimating tissue. It's a very Frankenstein-ish setup of just taking the recently deceased, and then he's got this magic serum that he has created, pumps it into them, and that's all it is. Just insert serum, and body reanimates. Consciousness apparently exists in every part of the body. So if you chip somebody's finger off and you put some of this magic goo on there, the finger's going to start walking around. So it's, but the only problem is when they do reanimate, they're kind of like mindless zombies and they run around and attack people.
Do they want to eat you?
I don't know if I don't remember a whole lot of eating, but there's a whole lot of attacking and drooling and punching and stuff.
Right.
This movie is extremely unapologetic, and that's where it shines. It's a lot of just visceral, simple attacks. The filmmaking style is very direct. Quite often, people are bodily picked up and thrown against walls, or objects are taken and thrown, and then there's a nice blood splatter, and it's one of those movies that you laugh at as much as you cringe and enjoy. Really fun time. I would absolutely sit down and watch this again. Then I noticed that there was a sequel, Bride of Reanimator, which came out about 6 years after the original. And that one it's got its moments, but it's not as good. But still, it was fun time watching a couple of movies that aren't going to be great, but you just sit back and laugh and have a fun time. Jeffrey Combs is great. I really am interested in seeing more movies that he's been in because he is such a hammy actor. It's just wonderful that he's really trying. Because there's another guy who's in the movies who's kind of billed as the main guy. Like Jeffrey Combs' name appears later in the rundown, even though he clearly is the main guy. Um, but the other guy is just like nothing, just he's the good looking guy who's the lead, but has really no character to him.
Right.
Other than that, he's easily convinced to go along with these crazy schemes.
So is
There's,
Jeffrey Combs is the lead in the Reanimator movies?
he is the reanimator. He's the
Okay.
guy who's like the mad scientist, and yeah, he does have a lot of screen time. He's
And
definitely the
when
lead, but it's like starring this, and Jeffrey Combs,
I
as if he
see.
was like some sort of big name back then.
Right. When did these movies come out?
84 or 85 for the first one, and then like 90, 91 for the second one.
I wonder
And
if that's how,
apparently,
what
I
got his.
just
I wonder how that if that's how he got the job on Star Trek.
it could be, it seems to be a very well known like cult film. Um, so I guess he got a little bit of a nod there, and Star Trek, they don't hire the upper echelon of actors there. They dig
No,
through.
they only come in to deliver George Takei some tea. That's pretty
Yeah,
much or George
yeah.
Takei. Sorry.
But fun, and I found out there was actually a third one that was made in the early 2000s. I believe it's called Beyond Reanimator, which unfortunately is not on Tubi and doesn't look like it's going to be very good, just from the stills that I saw of it. But that first movie was very fun. So I was digging around on Tubi after that, and I came across another series that I saw pop up all the time when we were going through trying to find movies to watch. This series called Trancers, and the one thing that stuck out to me is that Helen Hunt is in it. Very young Helen Hunt, maybe her first role. I'm not sure. Also kind of a fun, silly idea. It's a kind of a quantum leap thing. You got these people in the future that can time travel and then go into the bodies of people in the past, and they kind of take over their body and they have their consciousness.
Like Quantum Leap.
Like Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
But with cops. And then the main guy, he's one of those tough as nails, 5 o'clock shadow police officer who's after the guy who's always getting away. And he lights cigarettes by flicking matches off of his teeth.
Oh, yeah.
So he's a tough guy, and he does have a fun performance there. Helen Hunt she's doing the best with what she's got. Ultimately not great, but there are some fun moments. There's like a shootout with a mall Santa, and people get taken over, and then their skin gets all like blue and crazy. And it's a really cheap and dirty movie, and it's so.
So is it just the one movie?
I only watched the one, but I know Helen Hunt is at least in the second one as well. She's on the little thumbnail there, but okay. I think there's like 4 or 5 of these movies.
Wow.
Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole. Instead, I decided to revisit Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, which is a movie I saw a whole lot on television, network television, when I was growing up. And I always enjoyed it. I always thought it was kind of fun, silly. And going back to it now and seeing the complete movie unedited for television, you realize there's a lot of jokes that were kind of inappropriate. So part of my brain was thinking maybe this movie is kind of okay for kids because I saw it on TV. And aside from, the cleavage and everything, I thought it's not really that risque or anything. But there's a few lines of dialogue they had to cut for television, a lot of innuendo. But still a fun movie. Well paced too. I mean, the script and everything, although it's very silly and hokey, it has all the right beats, and it sets things up, and it delivers on little things like the loose floorboard and all that, and a lot of stuff going on there. So still a fun watch.
Cool. I've never
seen an
Elvira movie.
Oh, I think it's the only one. I mean, she was
Oh,
a horror host where she would just,
right.
you know, mystery science theater kind of thing, just comment on bad movie. It was. I don't think she even commented during it. It was just like, "Hey, the
An
movie's
intro.
about to start. Here, I'm going to say something clever." Cut to the
Okay.
movie. Hey, we'll be back after this. All that kind of stuff. Um, it's a fun movie, and I think she does a good job of having a personality that is over the top, obnoxious, trashy, but still likable. But then you have a couple scenes where she does just get kind of obnoxious. It's like, I gotta wait for this scene to go over. Like, okay, now she's back to being likable again.
So this was on Tubi?
No, I think I just watched this on YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
just saw it uploaded on there, which it wasn't a great copy, but I
Mm,
just had it on.
yeah.
But it's a fun movie. I'd say give it a whirl. She has a cool car too. You like the car,
Cool.
and she was friends with Pee Wee Herman,
Yes.
and
Well, she
a
was in
couple
that
of
movie, wasn't she?
she did have a cameo there. Like they were friends off screen. And I noticed during this a couple of times some of her delivery, she kind of sounds like Paul Rubens.
Really?
Just like, I don't know, there's something about the facial expression. It's the way Pee Wee would react to some things with kind of like a sarcastic tone. She
Mm.
almost has that same look.
Maybe he gave her some notes, like
Maybe.
how to do some scenes and that.
Because this is after Pee Wee's Big Adventure was made. So it's like, hey, you had a good I had a great movie come out. So like, I'm going to help you out.
Sure. Why not?
Hmm. But yeah, I'm feeling the spooky movie vibe, so I kind of got myself amped up to watch these troll movies now.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Sarah's been asking every night, like, "What do you want to watch?" I want to watch a scary movie. So, thankfully, the monster movies are coming on because I like those better, I think, than the slasher flicks personally.
Yeah, although I was out the other day and I was in a store and they had Child's Play 1, 2, 3, and Seed of Chucky on DVD there.
Mm.
And I was like,
In a bun,
ooh.
like in a bundle, like in a.
No, just
Oh,
loose, but somebody obviously like returned or sold or whatever. But that was the problem there. It was 1, 2, 3, and then it was Seed of Chucky, but there was no Bride of Chucky. So it was missing one. And used DVDs, $10 a pop. Couldn't do that.
mm. Yeah, that's
Couldn't,
wild.
I can't believe the prices.
Brand new DVDs here are $10.
If that, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you get them even
Oh yeah, you can get
cheaper.
them for like $2 or $3 sometimes.
Uh,
Oh,
hey, Josh.
Creepy
Time for you.
Josh says it's time for his yearly rewatch of Alien. We just watched that a couple of months ago when
Me too.
Buddy died. Um,
Who died?
Ash, the guy who played Ash, he's a Canadian actor.
Ash. Every
The
time I think
robot.
of Ash, I think of that scene where he like closes his mouth and all the milk comes out.
Yes. Rockstar
Nightmare.
says usually Nightmare on Elm Street. For me, I'll have to skip. I'll have to skip. I do need to watch
Fun
the other
idea.
ones though.
Fun
I've
ideas.
only watched the
Part
first one.
part of me wants to watch him, but I know it's like, no. Evil Dead 2, sure.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah,
before we
spooky
wrap
movies.
this up, do you think we should check in on the Q Dogs one more time?
Oh, well, we have to.
I mean, we
We're gonna
must.
watch the Resident Evil movies.
Oh, they're still playing Burger Time. See, that's how good that game is. You don't
Oh yeah.
stop. You just don't stop playing Burger Time.
Well, she's doing
That's
good too.
yeah.
She's only
Melissa's
got.
doing. Well, was it Eric that was playing before? Melissa's doing way better than Eric.
No, his daughter was playing
Oh, okay.
before.
Never mind. I won't.
She's
I
only
won't.
got 3 buns to go. No, 4. Okay.
We should do. We should do
She's
play
got
by
one.
play like the radio. All right, she's moving up. She's got a
Yeah.
fried egg chasing her right now. She only has 3 buns left. Oh, she just missed the ice cream. That would have given her a couple more pepper shakes. Now she's moving down. She's moving down to the further. Oh, no, she made the wrong turn
Oh,
there to the left, right into a wiener.
just a
Unfortunately,
bit outside.
if she continued going down, she probably would have been safe. But she made that unfortunate left. So now she still has 3 buns left. She got one down to the second. Now she's running away from a wiener right now. Now she's moving up to the second bun, but she is
Man,
getting
they are
really cornered.
aggressive in this.
It looks like as if she got them all with a shake, but something's happening. It's game over.
Oh
It is
no,
game
they
over.
all got her at once.
That was embarrassing. No, it wasn't. It was good. It was a good play. All right, here we go. Fresh board here. Here she is moving up right to the top. And she does have one bun down. $100. She knocked it down on top of a wiener. She's got another bun down. And now she's kind of getting cornered by a wiener and a fried egg, but she's kind of working her way out of that. She just dumped some lettuce on a wiener. She just got hit by a wiener, unfortunately. Now she is down to three men left. Here we go. Coming up. She's got the lower portion of a bun down and a piece of meat down there. Now she is not doing too well at all. She got hit by a wiener. Play-by-play for Burger Time is hard. Here we go. Two men left.
Fast-paced game.
She is going straight up, moving straight up to the topmost bun that she has left. There's one bun left on the top ring, and she got those down on two. She got it down on a wiener and a fried egg. Now she has almost got that bun down. Not quite. Almost knocked that lettuce down onto the fried egg, but she did not make it, and she got hit by a wiener. She gets hit by a lot of wieners in this game. Here we go. It's down to her final man, her final life, and she's got the top row completely clear. She almost hit that wiener right there, and the wiener got her. The wiener got her. She did not move fast enough. She looks like she's playing very casually, playing with her hair in between death scenes. Here we go. Final man right here.
Off camera more than on camera.
Yeah, she is completely out of men. This is the last chance she has to clear this board. She is got almost one full burger down on the right. She's working on the lettuce in the middle. She's moving up to the top left to get that bun up there. But she is getting really cornered. She used some pepper, but it did not work, and she got eaten by an egg. And that is it for this round of Burger Time. I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Q Dogs in the Q Dog House. Check it out every Wednesday on the Mighty Q Dog channel. Man, she's a champ. She's still going. Restart that game and go. She really likes Burger Time. But I'm getting tired of doing the commentary for this. So, Eric has come into the room right now. Eric's going to sit there and give her some pointers right now. He's fiddling with his shirt. And Melissa's not looking at the screen while she's playing the game again. Actually, this could be fun if you just look at the Q Dog and not actually watch the game. All right. That's enough. That was probably really boring for anyone just listening.
Yeah, for me too.
I'm trying. It's like, you're throwing stuff at the wall.
I wouldn't try it. I imagine it's very tough.
Okay. I think that's it. I think we're done.
Oh, yeah. Well, this was a long episode. We went like an hour and a half here.
No, we're only at an hour and 17 minutes.
Right. We had a little private preamble.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Check out Retro Fandango on Twitter at retro_Fandango. Get a boner with Retro Fandango. Don't forget to check out our Discord. It's happening over there. People are talking about movies and TV shows. They're talking about this show sometimes. Not often, but sometimes they talk about this show. It happens over there. Don't expect to find Richard there.
I'm going to predict the Discord chat here. Lots of Dexter bashing. Even though everybody watched all 8 seasons, they're just going to constantly complain about the ending and not talk about why they watched 8 seasons of it. And scary movies. People talk about what scary movies. So Dexter and scary movies. That's my prediction.
It could be. Could be.
Yeah.
You never know.
Mm-hmm. No one's going to talk about King Kong.
King Kong was so good, man. I enjoyed that.
That's why they're not going to talk about it.
It was that was great.
Watches those old movies like 100 years old.
I loved it. I want the Criterion Collection edition of King Kong if there is one.
No.
Yeah, it was really good.
Really enjoyed it. More about Rob Zombie movies.
And it wasn't just good like in that cheese, like, oh, that was a good piece of cheese. It was actually like a legit good movie. Like when you think about it, that's a really great idea to make a movie. It's like you're thinking like it's the 1930s. You're thinking this is a visual medium. What can I do? What can I create on the screen? Let's make a big monkey on the screen.
That's what got Peter Jackson going.
Yeah.
He saw that movie as a kid and I'm going to make movies.
I've never seen his version of King Kong. I heard it's not very good. And I guess
It gets a lot of great reviews. You know, there are a lot of 4 stars and stuff, but I don't see it. That movie is so boring / too long / odd. You go to some of the like monkey fight scenes, I'm sure, you know, hey, that was probably kind of cool, but as a whole package,
and I guess I should correct myself. King Kong is an ape.
that.
He's not. He's an ape. He's not a monkey.
He's a big monkey. He's a big cuddly monkey.
Toku Joe says Jackson's Kong was too long.
Oh yeah.
So
and this S K.
What?
Just see it, you'll know. There's one point where Jack Black is using a typewriter, and as he's typing out, I believe he's typing out Skull Island, and it's shot like this. And you see these long, slow motion finger jabs at the keys.
I don't think King Kong from the 30s was that long. It felt like it was a 90-minute movie, and I think it was 90 minutes. But I could be wrong. It went. That tells you how much I was enjoying it, because I wasn't even paying attention to how long the movie was. Okay, that's it. We've talked long enough. Thanks everybody for tearing themselves away from the Q Dogs for as long as you could. I'm going to go back and watch them right now until I have to do another podcast.
How many podcasts are you on now?
Too much. It's too much. Too much. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.